Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and what she did. She just performed what we thought was impossible. She got a delegate, right? So let's talk about this. All right, right now I want to talk about a specific moment in time in the Super Tuesday count session. All right, so what does it take to count the delegates, right? When we go into these voting events, all right? So Super Tuesday is the 5th voting event. We had 4 voting events before, and one of the things that we learned is that the counting is absolutely nightmarish. These counts are horrible because one of the things that's happening is a good example of this was South Carolina. Like, there were 54 votes there were 54 delegates up for grabs out of South Carolina. I know what happened with 48, right? But I have no idea what happened with the other 6 because they didn't finish the count, right, in time before Super Tuesday hype hit, and me and no one else on the planet, right, at the macro level, had time to go back and look. So, and here's the thing, the traditional media is reporting immediately, right? And boy, I will tell you, man, Donald Trump is such a problematic president, but boy, some of the things he has said have come out to be so true. People don't like the term fake news, but man, he was right? Like, there's just so much fake news right now. And a lot of these election counts, a lot of these delegate counts are just pure trash, right? There were 1,000 news sources reporting numbers on Wednesday morning for Super Tuesday and delegate counts, and those are meaningless. They're utterly meaningless, right? Because this election ain't over, right? And this is so incredibly dangerous because when you're reporting results far before the race is over, you are giving people a false sense of what the reality is. We saw this in Iowa. There was, it was one of the early states where Pete Buttigieg looked like he had just utterly trounced Biden. But the reality is 3-4 days later, it came out that he was 1 delegate ahead of Sanders, and that Sanders and Biden had practically tied, okay? Practically tied. And so you got this situation where they're practically tied, but, so you're like, oh, okay, well, what's that going to turn into? But it had been reported for 3 or 4 days that Buttigieg had beaten Sanders, and soundedly, right? That's bad. That is really, really bad. Okay, so we're in a bad spot as far as getting, these numbers being reported out of these voting events are absolutely atrocious. Because the traditional media they'll report just like inferences and fantasies and ideas whispered from animals. It's terrible right now, right? So it's really frustrating. So right now I want to talk about a single moment in time, and that was, I woke up in the morning, feeling like P. Diddy, and it was Wednesday morning. Super Tuesday had been the night before, and I could not help myself. I had to see what the delegate counts were, right? And I'm part of the problem. I get it, right? And I was like, is there anything of value here, right? Now, the Biden-Sanders numbers, that's pure trash. You can ignore that, right? Because that number is completely in flux, right? But there was something that was shocking, right? That was really incredible. On day 1, at the beginning of day 1, full count Wednesday, right? Full Super Tuesday vote count day, right? This is the first day where there's 24 hours that are going to be spent, on the attempt to count those votes from Super Tuesday. Tulsi Gabbard had 1 delegate, and Tom Steyer had 0, right? Now, I know he's already out of the election, but that's pretty incredible because that means that Tulsi Gabbard, right, 1, she's still in the election. She's still running. That's incredible. And then 2, she accomplished what a billionaire couldn't, right? And that is a incredibly important lesson for Americans, saying that not any billionaire can just roll in and buy. Like, people, there's been this question. People get frustrated and people are like, it's rigged, right? Well, this is proof that it's not fully rigged, right? It's like Tom Steyer rolled in with a wallet and nothing else, right? And he tried to say, my money is enough. And Americans was like, no, it's not. Step back. Take your late to the party, non-hardworking butt and leave, right? Because the rest of these candidates were here from the beginning and were here from the debate, from debate one, and have been under the hot sun, shaking Americans' hand, holding real rallies and acting like real politicians. And you stroll in late to the party as a billionaire with nothing but your wallet, and that's not enough. And even more than that, Tulsi Gabbard, who went the traditional route, proved him wrong. She accomplished what Tom Steyer could not. That's incredible. Tulsi Gabbard just utterly defeated Tom Steyer's billionaire arrogance. That is incredible. That is incredible. And I am, for one, incredibly impressed, right? So Tulsi Gabbard's one delegate, it says so much and it means so much. So let's talk a little bit more about what it means, right? Here's what Tulsi Gabbard's one delegate means. The biggest thing it means is an unbent knee. It's really, really, really important. Let's talk about it. All right. So here's the thing. All right. We fought a war in just a little bit before 1776, right? And the King of England was like, "Hey, America, we own you and everybody on that land, and you gotta give fealty to the king, and blah blah blah. You're not free." And America was like, "Heck to the no more kings," right? And we fought a war, and we freed ourselves, and we came out from underneath the king. And at every point, every American was like, "No more bent knees. We don't bend the knee to the king anymore. In America, we don't bow to no. We don't bend the knee to no one. We do not bend the knee to the king." We stopped that in 1776, right? Now, recently, that tradition has been picked up again, right? So here's what happened. So the DNC's rolled along, and let me not blame this on the DNC, right? The Democrat, here, let's do it this way. The blues, right? The blues at large, right? Realized that Bernie Sanders was about to straight snatch like the Super Tuesday and just like crush everybody, right? And they're like, "Oh my gosh, we need our moderate, who we think has a chance against Trump, to win. So let's do some backroom dealing, completely legal, no corruption, just good old-fashioned political influence, right? Good old-fashioned glad-handing, right? Just using goodwill of people and just political influence, nothing more. I'm not saying there was any kind of, corruption or anything, right? But I think the blue power base, right, was like, "Oh my gosh, we're about to straight lose against Trump if Bernie runs. We need some chance to win this election." And we all think that Biden is the way to go, which I think is insane, but that's what they were thinking. And I get why they're thinking it, right? Without a doubt, Biden has a much, much, much better chance of beating Trump than Sanders does. Sanders has virtually no chance of beating Trump, but Biden has the structure of a political. Biden's not a socialist, right? Like Biden, when you see Biden, you don't think hammer sickle, the Soviet Union, Mao, and a million other, communist aligned things, which socialism aligned with communism, right? Bernie Sanders isn't a communist, but Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and socialism is braided together with communism. It's like 1-2 connection, right? So Bernie is not directly a communist, but he's a hair's breadth away, right? It's a problem. It's a huge, huge problem. It's been mentioned in every single debate, right? And so, the blue power base was incredibly frightened, right? And so people got over it. They're like, "Hey, Pete, done great. We love the spirit, but you got to bend the knee, buddy. You got to go to King Joe and bend the knee, and we need you to push him a few yards," right? And that's exactly what they did to Amy Klobuchar. They were like, "Hey, Amy, you've been working real hard, but you got to bend the knee. Get over to King Joe, bend the knee to King Joe, and push him a few yards, because he's important and you're not," right? Now, I think the same thing was said to Elizabeth Warren, And I think the same thing was said to, actually, I don't even think they tried with Tulsi Gabbard, right? They know, right? You didn't, like, they know, right? They know you can't sing that noise to Tulsi Gabbard, right? But, so they went, and shockingly, Pete and Amy, like, rolled up and were like, I bend the knee, King Joe. And, you know, Pete was like, I bend the knee, King Joe. And Amy was, I bend the knee, King Joe. They bent the knee, right? In America, you don't bend the knee anymore. I'm an American, right? I don't bend the knee to anyone on this planet. I do bend the knee to God. That's the one area I still bend the knee to. But in America, we don't bend the knee to any human on the planet, right? You don't bend the knee, okay? And that's where Tulsi is. She has an unbent knee. She is standing straight with Elizabeth Warren, right? But not with Michael Bloomberg, right? He did bend the knee, right? Who did Michael Bloomberg bend the knee to? Michael Bloomberg bent the knee to laziness and to challenge, right? He bent the knee to laziness. I call him out. I really feel Michael Bloomberg's campaign has been shockingly lazy, right? And shockingly disrespectful. He didn't even bother to get on the ballot in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. He sent a message to those Americans saying, I care nothing for you and your state and your vote and for you as a person or anything else, right? Maybe not the part about the person. I'll take that one back, right? But like that was just shockingly disrespectful and lazy. He bent the knee to labor, to difficulty, to challenge. He's like, that's hard. I can't do that with my wallet. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to like wait for Super Tuesday, buy a bunch of ads. I'm not going to actually sweat under the sun and shake hands, right? He bent the knee, right? So in this right now, there's only 4 people with unbent knees. King Joe Biden, right? Who that crown has been put on his head by the Blue Power base, okay? Bernie Sanders, okay? Hey, respect, man. That dude does not quit. Like, if you're running after a Bernie October 2019 event, holy crap. You know, like, that dude's got grit. I will say that, okay? Elizabeth Warren, unbent knee. She's like, I'm no Pete Buttigieg. I'm no Amy Klobuchar. I ain't giving up. I ain't surrendering. And Tulsi Gabbard, she's like, no, I am here to stay. I do not bend the knee. There is no king for me, right? That is powerful. That is powerful, powerful. And the fact that she did what nobody else could do in the quitter bracket, in the surrenderer bracket, right, is incredible. I'll tell you. Okay, we're going to talk about a commenter I have right now. I'm not going to call him out by name because he didn't ask for that. But his initials are MB, right? And you will find him on half the videos I've done, right? And he is a massive Tulsi Gabbard supporter, right? And we've been going at it for months, right? And I was telling him, hey, Tulsi is a terrible candidate because she is a non-interventionist. And non-interventionism makes you completely unelectable, okay? Boy, oh boy, right? And I was telling him, you're backing the wrong person, right? You need to get on the Yang train. And the reason why is Yang has a chance, right? He's got a brilliant mind. He's awesomely noble. And he's got a plan. This freedom dividend could fix America. It could fix the world, right? And he's like, no, you're wrong. It's Tulsi all the way. And I'm like, man, Tulsi ain't going nowhere, dude, right? And this guy frustrates the living heck out of me. And the reason why is he's really interesting, right? So one, YouTube has done a fantastic job with comments. They don't really allow swearing or direct name calling, right? Which is great, right? But you could say some really cruel, vicious things without swearing and without name calling, right? And this guy, MB, he does, man. He has really taken it to me and said some really mean things in my comment section, right? But he does it in a thoughtful way, and he always has a point, right? Like, and he truly backs Tulsi. He actually cares about politics. He's not in there just trolling, right? But he's got a vicious side to him, right? He said some mean things in the comments. But I put up with him because, like, you know, I don't like just, hey, he's there. Everybody gets a voice, you know, as long as you're not, you know, swearing at people and calling people names, you get to say some mean things every now and then, and boy does he, right? Like, it's frustrating, but he's in there and he watches and he comments, right? And the thing is, he was right and I was wrong, right? He was right and I was wrong. Tulsi was the stronger candidate. Tulsi had more endurance. Tulsi had more persistence. Tulsi is not more intelligent than Andrew Yang. Tulsi does not have more nobility than Andrew Yang, but Tulsi is stronger. She does have more endurance. She does have more persistence. And frankly, now she's got more delegates. And those delegates came from endurance and persistence, right? And Andrew Yang is so many things to me. He's a great leader. He is a champion. He is a genius. He is a noble human being. But I am struggling so hard with this last word. He is a surrenderer. He bent the knee to challenge. He bent the knee to more labor. He bent the knee to more sacrifice. He wouldn't persist. He would not endure. And that is very, very hard for me to support. In fact, I can't. And I will admit right now, I'm not, I can't call myself a supporter of Yang because I'm not backing him. I'm not carrying his banner anymore. And this is the reason why. I'm down with everything he is except a surrenderer, except a quitter. I can't do it, right? Because it's not in my DNA. It's against everything I believe in. It's against everything I live for, right? And it just is so shocking to me that Tulsi Gabbard had more endurance, more grit, more persistence than Andrew Yang, and outpaced him and outperformed him. It is galling and shocking and upsetting to me. I don't like it. I don't like it. For somebody who stands for not fighting outfought our candidate. Like, what the heck? How did this happen? How did Yang get passed by Tulsi Gabbard? And that's what just happened. With one delegate, Tulsi Gabbard passed Andrew Yang's performance. She defeated him in the 2020 U.S. presidential primary race. And guess what? Non-interventionism defeated UBI, right? You can't say non-interventionism is a losing platform like UBI is a losing platform. Zero people in America were willing to vote for UBI. No one in America would give it even a single delegate. But there were people in America willing to give non-interventionism an absolutely atrocious platform, right? It stands for, hey, we're going to deconstruct the most valuable, we're going to deconstruct the military-industrial complex. You know Aunt Sally, who has that great job, over at XYZ company? She makes like 6 figures, pays for everybody to go to Disneyland. That's all over now because Tulsi's president. Yeah, like it's a bad platform, right? But non-interventionism defeated UBI because it got a single delegate, right? It's just a fact. Here's the last thing that just is so like tear-making, like for me. So sad face. Here's the last one. Tulsi is now in line to be president where Andrew Yang cannot be because of her endurance and persistence. How would that happen? Here you go. Bernie, August 2020. Okay? We already had Bernie, October 2019. You get a Bernie, August 2020, it's over, folks. It's done. Right? That happens. Woo! Shut it down. And not just for Bernie, but for every retirement president. Okay? If that happens, right, people are going to go like, oh, okay, all right, this was all insanity. We get that now, right? Retirement age is for a reason. Like, there's a reason America does this. America does this like 1 million times every year. Like, literally for like 1 million people a year. They're like, listen, you've been laboring for 48 years. We're going to pay you to sit on a porch and drink lemonade. Take this check, right? And these retirement presidents are saying retirement is not for sitting on a porch. Retirement is for taking the hardest labor jobs in the world from the young. No, it's not. This is a very bad precedence. So if Bernie has a Bernie August 2020, that's going to tell America, you don't need a retirement president. And every single one of these candidates, and guess what? That's all that's left. You have one option if you don't want a retirement president, okay? Every single candidate who is running has been able to collect it to retirement check for years or over a decade. Every single one. There's only, if you don't want a retirement president, you only got one option, and it is Tulsi Gabbard. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.